Thank you for joining us for Session 3 on additional school policies, the e-learning hub, and absences. So in the Return to School Road Plan, as I shared last time, we also have other new policies in place to make sure that we can keep our students and faculty safe throughout the year. One of those is a visitors policy. So as we know from the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics, that bringing more people into a facility does up our chance of bringing illness into the building. So per their recommendations and the safety committee, we will not be allowing extra visitors into the building during the school day when students are present. Many of you have already started to abide by this, and we thank you greatly for doing that. But if you do have something that a student needs throughout the day, like I have shared in Tartan Times, if they've forgotten a whole backpack or a lunch, those two things are very essential. We will make sure that we have a contactless drop-off at St. Thomas, and you're welcome to bring those to school. We do ask that you bring those after 8:15 a.m. though. Many of you know that we have a large car line in the morning, and that car line is going until 8 a.m. Even if you try to drop something off at 7:30, I can share with you we already have parents in line. So please make sure that if you are dropping something off at St. Thomas that it does come after 8:15 a.m. so Mrs. Clinton and I can make that contactless drop-off. We also are having no food deliveries this year outside of birthday treats. So food deliveries, last year I can share that Mrs. Clinton and I both were bombarded with, fantastic deliveries from Panera, Jersey Giant, Jimmy John's, you name it. If Grubhub and Uber Eats is delivering it, it was on our counter. This year we will not be accepting any outside food deliveries. Again, if a child did forget their lunch and you personally need to bring that to us, we will accept that. But if a person comes from Panera, Uber Eats, DoorDash, all the great delivery services, we will not be admitting them to the building, and we will turn them away. So I want to thank all of our parents for making sure that you're abiding by that policy. That it has just been fantastic. So thank you for doing that. We've also had a lot of questions on birthday treats. Are we still accepting those? So birthday treats can come to school, but they need to follow very specific guidelines. They do need to be from a bakery or somewhere produced outside of a home. They do need to be pre-packaged. So for instance, cookies that can be pre-packaged are great. Little Debbie's, people have been bringing in Swiss rolls or unicorn cakes. Those are great too. One thing we would try to avoid is cupcakes. That's a little difficult. Those aren't very well pre-packaged. So again, if you can do something that's pre-packaged, ready to hand, that has been created outside of your home, we can take those as birthday treats. But we can't take anything from home that is homemade, and we can't take anything that may need to be cut or divided or served at school as well. As we move into another policy, we're talking about absences. So as we have kind of looked at that illness piece, what happens when a child is absent? We do know that this year, probably more than ever, that we're going to have several students absent, and it's going to be often, just because of the conditions in which COVID can arise and the symptoms in which we can display. And so again, are those COVID? Is it a common cold? Is it allergies? Unless we're working with a physician, we are not fully aware. So that may mean that you're going to be at home. However, if you are at home, we do expect that our students are going to stay up to date on their studies via the e-learning hub. So again, if a student is absent, you'll want to call the office by 8:30 in the morning. We do ask that you wait till about 8:15 to give us a call. The mornings are rather busy as we open up now at 7:45 to start getting our students in, and we have prayer at 8:05. So starting at 8:15 and after, we're happy to take those calls that students aren't coming in for the day. But you do need to link to the e-learning hub. After 4 p.m. each day, your teachers will have uploaded the day's work either in their Google Classroom or in their Seesaw for your students to use that evening. But they will be expected to cover that work prior to coming back to school. Now there is going to be times when a student has a severe illness. There could be a time when a child has mono. There could be a time when a child is down and out with the flu, or if COVID has really, taken over, that could also cause a child to have a severe illness. If your child does have a severe illness, we ask you to please reach out to your teacher, and they will be able to give you an extension. But a vast majority of the time that we're going to be absent this year probably is due to just common cold, maybe a slight headache. But again, that has those same signs and symptoms of COVID, and we need to be more careful than ever this year as we do come to school so that we can make sure that we stay open for all of our students. So next up is a beautiful picture of our eLearning Hub. If you have yet to bookmark the eLearning Hub, I encourage you to jump on our school website, go right to the website for the eLearning Hub and bookmark it so that you have it for the school year. That is going to be a huge communication tool. That piece not only from your teacher, but from me as well. And during times of virtual learning, you're going to need this. So please make sure that if you have not bookmarked that eLearning Hub, that you do have that available. Within the eLearning Hub, we have some great resources for our families. So if you're in a kindergarten through third grade class, you're using Seesaw this year as the tool to help students and you to link to your teacher. On that page, you're going to see different resources for parents so that you can get to know Seesaw a little better. We do know that there's the Seesaw for Classroom and there's a Seesaw for Family. They do two different things, so you're going to need to figure out which one is best for your family, but I would start with these tutorials to help your family on that. In grades 4 through 8, we're working with Google Classroom. So really in 4 through 8, your students are rather independent. So they're going to be working in their Google Classrooms on their own. However, there is a way for guardians to receive an update on what students have or have not turned in within their Google Classroom. These tutorials will help you learn about that and how we can assist you in finding out what your students are doing in their classroom. I also invite you to look through the Zoom. I know last year a big piece of Zoom was the security component, but we have worked through that, making sure that we have enabled waiting rooms, that we have passwords, that we have done everything that we can on our end to keep those meetings safe for our students. But I encourage you to look through that so that when it does come time for us to use Zoom later in the year, you are up to date on how to use that. There's also going to be many classroom tools and connections. So as you'll see highlighted here is the top of the 6th grade page, but across the top bar you'll also see the many different places that you can head to look when we are in times of learning or even before then. You'll have your current parent information, religion, and then a classroom or a page for each classroom, preschool through 8th grade. Then on each page, you'll see their Google Classroom or Seesaw links. They'll either be at the top or they'll be right there as you see with 6th grade, where a student can click right on there and be taken right into their Google Classroom. And then last but not least, you'll have those shared resources among the grade levels. So this just highlights 3 of the tools that 6th grade's using: Moby Max, which is really used through K-8, Freckle, which is a piece of Renaissance learning. As accelerated math has gone away, they've replaced that with Freckle. So you'll probably be hearing more about that this year. And then BrainPop is another popular tool that we use to reinforce learning. So these again are just a few examples of the tools. However, if you log on to the eLearning Hub and you look for your child's grade, you'll see the many resources available for your particular student. So that covers absences and the eLearning Hub. And next session is going to be on the Distance Learning Handbook, phases 1 through 3, and the period of virtual learning, right after Thanksgiving through or up to Christmas break. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next.